Hi, this is Carolyn, and I'm here with Aaron. And today we're going to discuss tennis superstitions. I think most adult recreational players have them. Aaron, do you have any?
I do. And we talked about doing this episode for a very long time. And to tell you the truth, I had more when I was a beginner than I have now. Maybe because I didn't know what I was doing. Not that I do now either, but like going to matches, I had to listen to the same music.
Oh, I do
not
that
the
too.
same song.
I do that. Yes.
Yeah. And mine's really goofy. I think yours is even goofier. But for some reason, it's like, when you just get stuck on something. So mine was, I'm feel a little embarrassed to admit it, but whatever. I had to listen to the singer Pink, the woman.
I
Pink.
love Pink.
That's her name, not the
Pink.
color. I think she had some super heart pumping girl power type song. I couldn't even tell you what it was at the time, but years ago, this is like 10 years ago. That is what I listened to. Like as soon as I left my neighborhood, I would put on her music and I would listen, even if it was for a minute, honestly. Like it was just one of those things. What's your music?
Oh, mine are a lot of musicals. So The Greatest Showman, The Greatest Show, a lot of Hamilton. I listen to, what I would do is I would listen to a song, and as long as I was winning, I would continuously listen to that song.
Yes.
And if I lost, I would then change songs. And I've been losing a lot lately. So if anyone listening has any good songs we should listen to, let us know, because I need some more good songs.
Winning songs.
Yes, that's right.
Only winning songs.
Only winning songs.
Well, and honestly, I think that's why my routines have changed, Carolyn, because I like you, like we weren't good like immediately, but you can raise your level at the 2.5 to the 3.0. Like you can jump up pretty quickly if you take lessons and you practice with your friends and you take clinics and right. So your level goes up pretty quickly. So I think I was doing it a lot when I was winning, and I was like, oh, this is all part of my winning strategy. Yeah. And we had Kenny on who calls them preparation, but we call them superstition, right?
Yes.
But then when I started losing, when the higher level I got, when the tennis got a lot harder and I started losing more, I realized that my superstitions weren't working. So it was actually a good time to give them up because, sometimes they do kind of take over your thinking process. So, but there's a lot of tennis superstitions.
Yes, I think so. I think it's some place where you have a little bit of control because a lot of things you can't control out on the tennis court. But I do think after listening to Kenny, who did an episode on, what was it, Aaron, 7 tips to win a national championship.
Yeah.
He said that, these things or habits were very important and kind of set the tone. And it did kind of change my mind of like, oh, I should continue to do this stuff.
Yeah. No, it is definitely habits. I think it's a superstition maybe when like Nadal is superstitious. He turns his water bottle labels forward. I think he has a certain amount of water bottles. He bounces the ball a certain amount of times. He tucks his hair behind his headband and then, pulls on his shorts and like he has but he has won more than anybody in the world. Like, you can call that a superstition, but that's also a preparation in his mind. And that is what he is controlling before he, serves the ball. So I don't know. I guess if it doesn't take over and become something that gets in your way, then it's a preparation and it's helpful. So like, what are the other things you do? Like we talked about clothes. Like I have a funny story actually about a friend that I knew, at a club that I played at. And they had gone, again, this was like 2 5 days. So they were very, very, very into it. And they had gone to States. And my very good friend had made they rented a house together. So my friend had maybe on day 1 made everybody breakfast. And it was like, she cut up strawberries and made, whatever it was. It was a spread of, healthy stuff. Well, they won their matches that day. So then she was super, super, super superstitious. And she was like, I'm making breakfast again for everybody the next day. So she did it every day and they won States and they went on to sectionals. So that worked. And she was very set on, making everybody breakfast. But on that same team, I think it was when they went to sectionals, one of the ladies played with her shirt on inside out. And they didn't realize until after they had won a match. And so the entire team said, now you have to wear your shirt inside out the rest of the tournament because they were all superstitious and they thought that was part of their winning, their winning strategy was her with her shirt inside out. So she did. She was like, I really didn't want to wear my shirt like that, but she did it for the team and it worked and they won.
They won. See? So maybe it works. Maybe I need to start doing these things.
Right.
I knew people that have superstitions about not changing the scoreboard. Like they're
Yes.
I've played with a number of people that refuse to change the scoreboard. And I remember thinking, what if they play each other? Then neither one of them's going to touch the scoreboard. Like what do you do if there's two people that refuse to touch the scoreboard?
That's funny. I never thought about that.
I've heard of people that have like a lucky object.
Like what? What kind of object?
I've heard like a rock. They carry something like a rock or some lucky
Interesting.
object. Yeah. What did you just look at? It was Tennis Warehouse that asked this question.
We've talked about this episode for some time and I wanted to see what other people's superstitions were, not just like you and I. And so tell our audience what we found about ball bounces and all kinds of crazy stuff.
A lot of people, it's bouncing the ball. They have a set routine. They have to bounce it a certain number of times. Are you that way, Erin?
Not really. The only thing that I tend to do is on a second, and I don't like even numbers. I'm a designer and I don't know, for whatever reason, I like odd numbers and odd things, but I'm not obsessed about it. But I don't necessarily like even numbers, but on my second serve, I usually, not always, I usually only bounce the ball 2 times. And part of that is like routine, but I also think part of that is just like, I want to speed it up. Like I don't want people waiting on me. I've already served a first. I might have bounced it. I don't have a set amount of bounces, but I've served a ball and then now there's some sort of delay. And so just to kind of move it along, sometimes I'll just go like 1-2. It's a second serve. It's also 2 bounces, but it's not something I have to do. But I do think about it when I'm bouncing the ball. And I know a ton of people that have to do a certain serve routine. And if you break that routine, like there was a lady that she bounced the ball so many times that if you ask her in the middle, or if you go like, what's the score? She literally has to start her routine all over again. So you just know, don't even ask mid prep because it's just going to take forever.
That's great. A lot of people put that they use the same ball if they won the point.
That I do. Do you do it?
No, I've never thought about that, but maybe I should. Maybe it would help me. So I'm going to start. So you would ask them but what if the ball goes somewhere like away? Do you ask them to give it to you? Because people do.
Okay.
I've seen this happen before where someone's asked me to go and get a ball, even though I know they have 2 left.
So you know what I do? I don't do that because, again, it's sort of a time thing. Like I don't have all day to spend out there to do a adult rec match, right? But if it's a doubles match, if it's singles, I certainly don't. I'm just like, I'll just serve with whatever I have. But if I get a ball back that I know I've won a point with, like let's say I've served a first serve and I've won the point and then I need a second ball, so they send that one back over to me, I'll use that one again. As opposed to like switching it out with the one that's maybe in my skirt.
Gotcha.
But in a doubles situation, it's easier to control because typically, not always, but typically the server is holding 2 balls and their partner would be holding the third ball. And so every once in a while, I will say to my partner, I want that ball. Or if we lose a point, and I do this a lot. If we lose a point, I'll switch balls with my partner and say, this is a bad ball.
Yes.
Like, it's not that we've played badly. I blame it on the equipment, right? So I'll say like, this is a bad ball. And then I'll make them give me a different one. So yeah, God, I guess I have a lot more superstitions than I thought or habits. Don't pick up new habits, Carolyn, just because, I wouldn't say these are working superstitions. They're just superstitions.
But there's something that you can control out on the tennis court. So maybe there is some sort of benefit to it. People talk about not stepping on lines. I don't. I always step on everywhere on the tennis court. I don't do that. Doubles partners always serving first came up a number of times, which I thought was interesting that people had that as one of their superstitions.
Yeah. So when you play doubles, do you have a set idea of who's going to serve first between you or your partner?
I don't think so. Not really.
I'll tell you what I do. And we did this you and I did this as partners, and I don't think you noticed it. I don't like to be at the net necessarily, and I feel pretty confident about winning my serve. And so if it's my choice and like you're my ad partner and you love to be at the net, And so I would always, between you and I would say, if you don't mind, also, if somebody says, I absolutely insist that I serve on this side or not in the sun, or I'm a lefty, or I am a XYZ, you know, whatever they're, absolutely, I don't care. But typically if someone, and most people don't like to serve first, they like to kind of get in a match first before they serve. And I never mind serving right out of the gate. So I will always say, if you don't mind, I'll serve first because that puts you at the net.
Oh, okay.
Again, not necessarily a superstition, but a habit for sure.
Or strategy.
And that's just of where I want to be on the court. Yeah, where I want to be on the court and where I don't want to be on the court, which is up at the net.
Another one people said was wearing the same socks if they're winning. I guess that goes to clothes.
Yes.
Wearing the same underwear. Multiple people said wearing the same underwear. Did you do that?
I don't do any of that.
You don't?
No.
I will wear the same shirt if I'm winning. There's a number of times where I think, oh, I won last time. I wore this shirt. Let me wear it again. But then I started losing and I ran out of shirts. So.
See? That's what I'm saying. So, okay, so I have a question for you then. What about changing, you know, in between the first and second? And I know you well enough to know you oftentimes just change anyway, just from a sweat perspective or
comfort.
You know, it's hot.
Yes.
A comfort. Yeah.
Well,
you're just like the pros, Carolyn. They're all changing in between. They used to never do that, I don't think, in the olden days, but now in the open era, as they call it, a lot of them are starting to do that. So you're just like the pros, is what I'm hearing.
Basically like the pros is what I'm hearing. I used to change always between the first and second set if it was hot outside, because I would just feel so much better, new clothes.
Yes.
You know, even if I lost, I would do it. But then my husband watched me play a match and he told me I was taking way too long, that my opponent probably thought it was some sort of strategy, which it really wasn't.
Right.
It was just where I wanted to cool off and feel better. So I've actually stopped doing that. Just because I don't want my opponent to think it's some sort of strategy.
See, and here's the thing I would say. I actually thought it would make more sense. If it was strategy, then it would make more sense if I was doing it, that I would change my clothes if I lost, because I would want to go in the locker room, bathroom, whatever, change to think about what could I do different, you know, to win the next set. But you weren't doing it out of strategy. You were doing it purely out of comfort. So that's not a superstition, but I guarantee a lot of people wear the same clothes or do the same, you know, like you said, the same, maybe it's a sports bra, or, you know, for men, maybe it's underwear, women underwear, but yours was not that.
Yeah, it wasn't. And so I didn't want people to think I was trying to, you know, make them wait outside in the heat anymore. So I stopped.
Or that you had a crazy superstition.
Or that I had a crazy superstition. That's right.
Yeah.
How about with your equipment? Do you line up your water bottles? Do you set everything up a certain way? Do you do anything like that?
I don't, but the things I do think about is, again, it's really just like, oh, have I won a couple points or won a couple games and something's working? So like, I do think about, I don't have to put them in a certain spot, but it's based on winning or losing. So like if I have my water bottle, you know, I try to keep all my stuff kind of contained because we don't have a lot of space on benches, or, you know, we're not the pros. We don't have like, you know, people holding umbrellas over our heads and, you know, all that stuff. We have, and, you know, usually even if we're playing doubles, there's like 8 people trying to share a bench, which gets to be, you know, annoying. So I try to contain everything. So based on like my water bottle, if I've started the match and my water bottle, I just sort of like, I leave my bag unzipped, and a lot of times I'll just throw my water bottle in there just to keep it contained. But if I happen to set it like on a bench and I'm winning and I come back and I take a sip out of that water bottle, I'll put it back wherever it was. If I'm losing, I'll switch it. So if it was in my bag, sometimes I'll set it on the bench. Or if it was on the bench and I'm winning, I'll leave it on the bench.
Interesting. Okay.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Just weird.
Yeah.
I'm realizing how weird I am by recording this with you, Carolyn.
I'm weird too.
This is bad. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, why are we doing? We have issues. Someone has that they change their visor if they lose a set.
I never have done that, but I always carry 2 visors. Maybe I'll start doing that.
I'm going to start doing that too. I think that's a great idea.
Me too.
I think this is great. We're going to try it, and we'll let you know if we win or not.
Right. But mine is more like the episode that we did, like what's in your tennis bag, and just being overly prepared, because you know how overly prepared I was when we did that episode. So mine is like, well, what if one of my friends needs to borrow a visor? But now I'm going to use it for myself, and I'm going to use it for like, I lost that set. I'm going to change this visor. But if I win the set, I'm keeping that. Yes. I'm keeping that same winning visor on.
That's great. That's great. Please let us know if you have any other superstitions or winning superstitions. You can message us on our website, which is secondservepodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening and hope to see you on the courts soon.